when you are a D2C brand, you essentially sell your products to retailers, and you might not know who your customer is. You're essentially flying blind. So you don't have this like direct customer data. And by not having them, you're missing out on a lot of like opportunities for retention or for upsell. We call it scan and earn as a functionality, as a module of our framework. And essentially after the scan, the product is being added into your account, and the sky of the opportunities is opening right now. Going even a step further is that within the application, we could enhance it with the gamified experience. And for example, create a game for kids that they would be playing while brushing their teeth every morning and every evening. We've based our mobile framework on a technology called Flutter, which is like a one code base. So you only need one team to work on this code base. And the outcome of it, there are two separate applications. So from this one code base, you'll have iOS application, and you're going to have Android application, which essentially means that we're already reducing like the cost for the development and the time to market in that case.
All right. I guess that we are live. We should be at least. So hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, we are going to be talking about a framework for building a D2C loyalty app that is a revenue driver. So today we have an awesome guest. It's Marcin Dyguda, who is the Director of Solution Delivery at Open Loyalty. And he leads a team of loyalty experts who guide enterprises through the strategic design, implementation, and optimization of revenue-driving loyalty programs. So in fact, he'll be sharing the kind of framework around building an app. But before we do that, first of all, thank you so much, Marcin, for joining us.
Hey, thank you so much for inviting me. Glad to be here.
Awesome. So for all those of you who are still wondering, is it worth it to be with us till the very end? So I just wanted to make sure that you see the value. So by the end of our conversation, you will learn what a D2C loyalty program can offer. So we are definitely going to be discussing the benefits of developing such a program. Also, Marcin will be sharing a proven framework for building a loyalty app that drives revenue. And there's going to be an opportunity to discuss use cases tailored to your business. And this is basically, the main information here, that this video is just an opportunity for us to meet. It's just a context for us to discuss use cases in your business. So let's get straight to business. What is the role of a D2C loyalty program, Marcin?
That's a great starting question. And like, if there's one learning I'd love the audience to take out from this webinar, I'd love them to know that the loyalty program needs to stop being a cost and should become a revenue driver, because this is like one of the most important things it should be doing for your business, essentially.
Right. So definitely, it's something that, adds. However, there are certain challenges, and especially if we think about D2C brands. I'm definitely, there are very specific challenges that D2C brands see. If we could perhaps address them like one by one, so that, the value of a program might be more visible.
Yeah, sure. I would love to start with a question like if the D2C brands even need a loyalty application. And like, I think we need to start asking like whether you can afford not having one, actually, because it can certainly give you a lot of opportunities, because like most businesses, or the businesses we create, they're they're created for the profit, right? We want them to make more and more profit. When you are a D2C brand, you essentially sell your products to retailers, and you might not know who your customer is. You're essentially flying blind, so you don't have this like direct customer data, and by not having them, you're missing out on a lot of like opportunities for retention or for upsell, and that's definitely something I would like to talk through furthermore. Like the other business challenges is that the market is getting more and more aggressive every single day, and like every D2C brand is like fighting for this second or third purchase, and most of those companies are actually throwing discounts at the problem, and this is not the way to go. This is definitely not the way to go. And like it's essentially bleeding your margins, and we need to revert that thinking and turn those like one-time buyers into like more predictable revenue, essentially.
Absolutely. So this is also something that I've observed discussing, the challenges with customers, that first of all, as a D2C brand, you do not have this opportunity to communicate directly with your customers. So as you've said, the data that is very crucial, it's not there. So actually you rely, not on first-hand data for sure. And the next thing is that even though your competitors are also thinking about implementing loyalty programs. Perhaps they already did, but the majority of them are very much discount oriented. They are like, this basic earn and burn mechanics where customers buy products, they receive points, and those points allow them to be eligible for further discount, perhaps at the next purchase. And this is great because on the one hand, this is an interesting phenomenon where people actually expect you to have a loyalty program, even though the designs are so basic that they are not excited about any of these, perhaps, but still they might be a bit disappointed if you don't have one. But there is a huge opportunity, especially with gamification. We are going to be discussing that in detail later on. But I would say that it's a fantastic moment to just think carefully about the design that suits your brand and stands out from competitors.
Yeah, and getting like back to the profit thing. So if a business wants to make more profit, you can either drive more revenue or essentially drive your costs down. Like those are the main two challenges that you can actually leverage loyalty program to help you achieve. Because like if we're looking at the costs, let's take as an example, because like loyalty program can essentially drive those costs, like operational costs, down if you move your, let's say, a physical loyalty card into a digital one. Like it's essentially like driving costs down in such case. And you can use loyalty program to also like highlight your brand values. You can use it to there's actually like one of the examples, the recent ones, because we recently launched with one of our clients the loyalty program. It was actually like a football club, a Club Bruges, and I've loved what they did, because they've actually used tiers within the loyalty program, and the highest tier you need to achieve 1,891 points to actually be eligible for the highest tier. And this is actually a year when the club was started. It was amazing how you can even like highlight your history through a loyalty application and loyalty program. It was like amazing to that they've actually used this information to put it in there. So
awesome.
The sky is the limit when it comes to like loyalty programs.
And this is a perfect example because it is very it's so simple. Yet, if you implement it, suddenly it becomes so unique. Because like I even I didn't know that until you actually mentioned the number, but I already remember it. That it's like 1,891, which is like the year where the club started. So amazing, and definitely now I see that now for example, as a fan, me going towards like this special kind of tier, suddenly it just makes more sense. Awesome. So I just wanted to running on those examples, because like we started with the challenges, so I believe that this is visible. I was thinking before we met, I was thinking about the D2C loyalty program that I know, something that and the only one that came to my mind immediately was My Philips. To all those of you who might not be familiar with My Philips program, it's a very simple design, and you basically can buy Philips products anywhere you wish. And what you can do is, like, after the purchase, you can create an account on the website, and then you can take the serial number of the product that you have purchased. When you type it in, then in your profile, there is this particular product that you have bought, and since you have registered it, now you are eligible for a extended warranty. So I like it because still, like, the value is there. I definitely, just made sure to type in, the details. But still, being in loyalty and, seeing some really awesome designs, I can see a lot of, room for opportunity. So, I mean, there can be so much more that we could offer here. So I just wanted to ask you, Marcin, like, what would you do with such a design as an MVP? And, what are the ideas that come to your mind when it comes to enhancing it?
That's a great example because I already see like a couple of things from the top of my head that like we could essentially elevate the experience for you as a user here. Because we spoke at the beginning that one of the challenges is that you don't have any data about your customer, right? But imagine putting a QR code on your product, on the packaging of the product, the QR code. And using your loyalty app, you're scanning your product. And within the QR code, you can actually put a tremendous amount of data and get to know your client's behaviors much more, because you can put in like location, where did he buy it, what time did he buy it, and like you don't have to then type manually the serial number because it can automatically be added to your account. So this can be like one of the examples in here, but going a little further is like, okay, your product is being added to your account.
Sorry, just wanted to clarify if I understand it correctly, because the feature that you have just introduced is the sort of like a scanning mechanism in the app that I'm using myself, right? So I go to the shop, and after the purchase, I scan the product on my own, and the information that you just described is actually gathered through the app, right?
Yes, exactly. This is like we call it scan and earn as a functionality, as a module of our framework. And essentially, after the scan, the product is being added into your account, and the sky of the opportunities is opening right now. Because as you probably know, a toothbrush with electric ones, they have like tremendous amount of those heads. And you need to find the right one for your toothbrush. And it's sometimes a really hard thing to do. So you can already show the user the upselling products that are actually a good match for their toothbrush. So you can give him like 10 different heads with like softness and colors and so on. So essentially, one of the opportunities windows has been open.
Absolutely.
So here, toothbrush.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
just wanted to, explore on that a bit, because it's true that one of the products that I have like registered in my Philips account is actually a Sonic toothbrush. And I just wanted to check out of curiosity. I wanted to check out, like how many different kinds of, like connected or related products there are. And I found around like 37 different, let's say, components that you could buy together with a toothbrush. But as you've mentioned, the heads, it's absolutely incredible how much knowledge it's actually required for you to choose the right one, because you have some plague, gum, different kinds of. So for me, it would absolutely make sense if there was any sort of initiative, or like and I would even call it like an onboarding experience.
It's a personalization experience.
For sure.
In a sense, right? Because you're getting the products that are matching your current purchase. So that will create behaviors for you, or it's like it reduces the friction of like the next purchase. And when we're talking about like the toothbrush heads, you should probably be changing your toothbrush around like every 2 months or so. You could even sell it as a subscription-based product, like the heads. Every 2 months, they're in your inbox, and you don't have to think about it even. So that's like another upselling opportunity here. And you're then changing this one-time buyer into this like predictable revenue here. So that would be awesome to do. The other thing is that, let's assume you have kids. You're a parent, you have kids, and one of the mundane things throughout the day for between kids and parents is like go and brush your teeth.
Oh yeah,
it's like you have to do it every morning, every evening, and so on. And kids don't have like every time they don't like it.
Yeah, they're usually not enthusiastic about that.
Yeah, exactly. So let's say you also bought a toothbrush for your kid. You scan it, it's being added into your account, and the application now knows that you've added a toothbrush for kids. So it can, for example, create an onboarding experience for your kid as well. It's like ask him his or her favorite colors, favorite cartoon character, and those two are actually good enough, because then again you can upsell the heads for the toothbrush in their favorite color or within the theme of their favorite cartoon character. But going even a step further is that within the application we could enhance it with the gamified experience, and for example create a game for kids that they would be playing while brushing their teeth every morning and every evening. So it's like you have this timer, and I don't know, you maybe go on an adventure with a favorite cartoon character, and like this mundane thing is becoming a fun experience. And you as a brand are helping a parent create those good behaviors within their children. And like, I think it's amazing.
Wow.
Those are the things that I would definitely think about.
Absolutely. Like, as a parent myself, I've experienced that. So I know actually how difficult it might be in order to just keep this consistency. And like, as you've said, usually brushing the teeth is not the most exciting part of your morning or your evening. So actually, it requires some, serious argumentation, I would say. But here, I can already see the value. So, the brand that would actually allow me or basically create an interactive experience for my kid and make it turn it into this something special, something that I anticipate, something that I'm looking for. Then, wow. I mean, I can already see it as first of all, you definitely stand out from the market. It's not just a toothbrush. It's also something that might, be the perfect experience for my kid to learn actually how to brush the teeth and make it a routine, and also have fun with it.
Not even mentioning that probably when your kids are growing up, they're gonna need a better toothbrush in the future. So like your brand is then become more sticky essentially within the life of your customers, and you're going to be chosen for the next purchase essentially, if the experience is that good. So yeah, definitely. I actually brought one of my own. If you want to chime in with something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
Cool. So I brought one of my own, one of the recent ones actually, because I've recently experienced it. So quite close to my house, there's like a shopping mall, and there is this sporting retail brand called Decathlon, and I've been purchasing some of their products like a couple of weeks ago. I've joined their program. I went home. Everything went fine. But I also, again, joined the program and actually installed their application because they were incentivizing on it while the shopping experience, which also is not that common within the brands. So it was good to see. But then, like a couple of days ago, I went to the shopping mall again. And I was super surprised to see the notification on my phone, actually from the Decathlon app, saying like, hey, we can see you're at the shopping mall. Maybe you can stop by our shop and see what we have in stock. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And like, after like working with the brands, knowing the tech, is like the tech behind it is not that complicated, because it's like a simple geographic based trigger on like, the user is here, let's trigger the notification. But like it's July, vacation has started, and the summer break. I thought, okay, yeah, why not? Like we might need some sporting gear for summer. So I went to shop, and like this experience was actually really surprising, and it wasn't like too invasive. Because like the notifications can be invasive, but if you think them through wisely, I think they're also a very powerful tool in the toolbox for loyalty programs.
Oh, for sure. Because if I got this sort of notification when I was like away, like at home perhaps, and it was like, hey, come visit us, and whatever. So then it doesn't really align with what I'm currently doing. But since you were already in the area, you were in the mall, and that was actually pretty convenient, right?
Yeah, like you're incentivizing the behavior. Like while the user is still here, he may or she may pop in or not. So it's like it's really, really powerful, because like essentially loyalty programs are using human psychology. And this is really powerful.
Sure. And of the thing that you've mentioned, it fits. I mean, it just like it is a really nice example of omni-channel experience, where you are, like you are physically close to the brick and mortar shop, but still like you are prompted by an app. You see the context. You see that, well, actually, that might be a good idea. Coming back to the D2C brands, I'm thinking, if it was like properly aligned with a particular campaign, maybe launching a new product, or maybe a complementary product, or maybe the subscription that you've mentioned, right? Because, we've mentioned toothbrushes. I would say that the same will be with coffee machines, right? Where you need to supply yourself with filters, with coffee, with different like components, whatever. So me going into a mall, it might be a place, basically like D2C brands are offered in different places, right? Through resellers mostly. So here I can really see an opportunity when actually the app informs you that, hey, this particular product is available here. It's very close. It's convenient for you maybe to just like, supply, because it's the perfect moment to do it. So absolutely there is so much cool things to be designed.
Yeah, again, sky is the limit when it comes to the like behavior design here.
Absolutely. So here I wanted to, because we've discussed the challenges. We've actually even discussed really cool examples that brought it to life. So my question is like, okay, so why don't all D2C brands have an app yet?
That's a very good question, because while we've talked about like business challenges, the other part of the equation is that we also have a lot of technical challenges, and I'm guessing that like this is why not everyone has the loyalty app here. And one of the biggest challenges that I've seen after like talking with different brands is that when you want to launch a mobile application, you essentially need to look at the mobile devices market. And you have two major players there when it comes to the operating system, and this is either Android or iOS, so the Apple devices. And when you want to launch a mobile application, you essentially need to launch two different mobile applications, one for Android, one for the iOS. And that means really long time to market, because you need to have two different teams working on essentially the same product, but that creates a lot of communication, a lot of project management. So this is a very long time to market, but also it elevates the costs significantly, because you need to now have two different teams, one working on the Android, one working on the iOS, because those are the different technologies. And this also means that you're losing the competitive advantage, or you might lose the competitive advantage, because it's a high cost. You're not yet sure how it will behave on the market, and so you're not sure if you want to invest so much and so on. So I've seen this like behavior within the brands, and like those challenges that they had while thinking about the loyalty applications.
Sure. And I believe that, an app is just a part of it, right? So when we think about loyalty program, it's like you have many different designs you can choose from. But now I understand why developing an app might be really challenging, because basically as a manufacturer, you're not necessarily an IT company. So it might be quite difficult for you either to build an in-house team who can develop the features that suit the business model, because it needs to be integrated without the whole process, right? I mean, within the whole process. Plus, when you've mentioned that, so now I actually understand why some applications are only available on Android or only available on iPhone, right? iOS. Okay, cool. Because at first I was like, okay, why would you do that? There are like different people who have, okay, cool.
But you brought an interesting point, because as you said, like there are different like maturity of the IT within those brands. So some of the brands might have the IT, like the internal IT team. Some of them might have an agency working for them and like operating or either the e-commerce or like any other IT system within the business. That means like, okay, how can I then integrate this loyalty platform, loyalty application within my complex infrastructure? So this is also a key point when discussing like different challenges. And when you have like, for example, the agency, they might lack the like domain expertise when it comes to like loyalty. So you'll ask them like, hey, we need a loyalty engine. Can you integrate it within our stack? And they're without knowing like the loyalty specifics and the business specifics, they also might essentially fail in such integration.
I mean, this is it's so visible when you talk to people who have recently developed an app, and when you understand the whole journey, because essentially, okay, you are building an app, but it's not just an app, it's a loyalty app, which means it sounds obvious and sounds so simple, but actually you need to be very careful about the design, because it's not about having some application that looks great, feels great. It's actually about people understanding the value, and people downloading the app, registering into the program, and then becoming your loyal customers, which means that it's more about the business. So you need to, in a way, balance technology and business.
Yeah, you might have the best app in the world, but it might have zero engagement because the loyalty program had like the go-to-market strategy for this loyalty program wasn't properly thought through, and it also might fail, even with a best app in the world.
And I believe that here is because at the very beginning, you've mentioned that a loyalty program should be a revenue driver. So I would say that this particular moment where you have invested a lot into developing an app nobody knows about, nobody sees the value in, that's probably the biggest mistake a company might do, because you allocate a lot of budget into a project that will never lift off. So here, based on my discussions with customers, I can see that, yeah, you just need to be aware of the fact that an app is a tool, is one of the elements, but the most important thing is actually to make the program work. And in order to do that, you actually need to create this value that your customers will see immediately.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why after like all those conversations, all those implementations that we did, we wanted to create like a blueprint. Okay, how can we have a successful mobile loyalty application? And essentially what we have developed is our open loyalties mobile framework here. And we focused on two things, like the technology and the business and the technology. And starting from the technology here, we've based our mobile framework on a technology called Flutter, which is like a one code base. So you only need one team to work on this code base, and the outcome of it, there are two separate applications. So from this one code base, you'll have iOS application and you're going to have Android application, which essentially means that we're already reducing like the cost for the development and the time to market. In that case, it's not like divided in half, because like if we're like removing, let's say, one team from the equation, it's like we're not decreasing the time to market by half, but it's around 30 to 40% in
massive,
that case,
right?
Yeah, it's still a massive gain when it comes to the developed application, because you still need to think about, okay, I need to roll it out to the marketplace. There are functionalities that might work in iOS and might not work in Android. So we need to find this common ground of a functionality so that those applications have this like feature parity when it comes to those. And so this is like one of the things that we focus to actually like drive the cost down and like make the time to market faster. In that case, we're of course using Open Loyalty as like our loyalty engine. This is an API first loyalty engine, so it's easily integratable within like the complex infrastructure of the companies, because again, it's a simple API data exchange and webhooks for like triggering actions within the loyalty program. It's natively integrated with this mobile application. And like this mobile application is like, we have a lot of components that we can build, a loyalty app like Lego bricks essentially. And like we discussed, the scan and earn is like one of our most popular thing in that case. We see that like scan and earn gives the highest like return on investment. Like this is a big feature when it comes to like the loyalty applications.
So just to make sure, in order to, because to me it's quite obvious. I'm familiar with this idea of using those different components. If we perhaps could point to some basic ones in order to quickly develop an MVP for anyone who is representing a D2C brand currently. You've mentioned the scan and earn mechanics, which might be a very interesting and crucial component here. What about some others? For example, like points, right?
Yeah, we have wallets, like multiple wallets actually. So we can even like introduce multiple, like we can track multiple things in a case, in a sense, and like use those wallets to create the tiers, the leveling. So we're entering the whole gamification area, because we strongly believe that gamification is like, again, addressing human psychology, and it gives you like this boost of adrenaline and serotonin and like dopamine hit. And so that's definitely one of our key points here. And like having those two technologies combined and lowering the cost and making a faster time to market, we're talking with the brands more, and or like we're shifting the focus from the app itself to the go-to-market strategy, because we also have like loyalty experts on board, and we're trying to design the loyalty application, the loyalty program, in a way that it's actually going to get more engagement from day one, and what are the tactics that the brand can use on a daily basis to drive and more customers into their loyalty program. So and essentially in the end drive more revenue.
It's actually looking at the app as a component for the whole business function, not only like designing an app just for the app's sake. And the components that you've mentioned, I would emphasize that, because I've been talking to customers for some time right now, and there is a very common challenge that if you decide to build even like the simplest loyalty mechanics in-house, you do it for the first time. Usually during the design process, or like it turns out that it's not that simple, so there are like different elements to that. So I really like the idea of using those like proven, tried and tested mechanics that you could basically very often like use to build the MVP and immediately test it out against your customers. So what you focus on is like, okay, is this app something that people would like to download? Would they be interested in designing or like in participating in the perhaps challenges? You've mentioned gamification. There are like for all those who are interested, you could visit our case study page, because there are also some cool examples of gamified challenges where actually customers are invited to participate in some actions. It's not transaction, but actually this is something that might be either based on learning a skill. You've mentioned the brushing teeth when it comes to kids, which is brilliant. There are
I'd
different
also
ways.
like to mention one thing, because like sometimes brands are asking, okay, how can gamification be applied to my business? Like I am a D2C brand, and like how can gamified experience can be used within my my business? And okay, let's focus. Let's talk about those promotions. You're giving, for example, a 10% discount to all your visitors to the website, right? You just simply, hey, we'll give you a 10% discount if you leave us your email in that case, because this is like the most common that I've seen. And a first and the simplest gamification tactic that you can apply is, don't give the discounts to everyone. If you want to do it, like if you want to still give the discount, let's use a gamified experience. Let's create a simple like spin the wheel game that not everyone will win, but only some people will win. So it already like changes your margins, because you're not giving away the 10% discount to everyone, but to a smaller group of people. And people value it much more, because again, we're coming back to human psychology. This is a game, and this is a dopamine hit. And if a person is winning something, they value it much more than when they just simply get it out of the box when just leaving their email.
Absolutely. And then looking at it as a business function. I mean, I'm thinking about loyalty, right? So the whole idea is still to treat your loyal customers as the VIPs and actually offering them something extra, inviting them to participate in something brand related. But it's not a discount distribution platform, right? Where you actually try to kill your margins, as you've mentioned. So it's really cool to think about the business perspective, but turn to loyalty as a vessel of, let's say, a skill building. Recently, I was discussing designing gamified loyalty with Roman Rakwitz, and he mentioned, he said something cool about any brand could probably help, their customers with deepening knowledge, being more aware of which product is exactly for me, what are my needs currently, so still it is about personalization. And if we use these two, if we gamify personalizing and ultimately leading to a better purchase, that's a win-win. That's definitely something that it's worth investing. And I'm pretty sure that first of all makes your brand stand out, and also it becomes this contributing factor to a revenue driving loyalty experience.
And you can even incentivize people not based on purchases, but for example, leaving reviews. Because if you're selling through a retailer, just incentivize them to leave a review, and based on this review, give them something like points or something like that. So that by that you're going to create ambassadors of your brand within your customer base.
Absolutely. And then when we think about a situation where your products are somewhere together with competitors' products, right? So then actually having the proper number of reviews and being visible, it just helps people choose you over alternatives.
It then doesn't matter which shelf you're on.
Yeah.
Because people were definitely going to search for your brand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. Okay. So I think that we've briefly discussed the challenges, plus we went through the examples, and ultimately, thank you so much for providing the framework, because the solution is there. What I really like and appreciate about this framework is the fact that it's simple, and it's also based on something that has been tested, and it's actually a proven way to design an app quickly, especially the MVP. In my experience, at least, the most successful brands are the ones who can come up with an MVP quite fast and just put it as a part of the whole loyalty initiative, and see if there is traction, see if the value is visible, see if customers download and interact with it, engage,
and iterate on it, change the points, change the rewards, constantly personalize and iterate on. You need to have those KPIs and measure them to see if it's working. If not, again, iterate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
definitely.
So in fact, I would say that this is probably the perfect moment to basically emphasize the most important thing that we wanted to convey today. That this video is just a context for us to show you clearly that this proven framework might help you. And I can see that perhaps there are two different kinds of audience. So first of all, maybe you don't have a loyalty program yet and you would like to test it out. So feel free to reach out to Marcin and me, and just we could basically work with you or present some cool use cases that might be an MVP. And then you could, start with, think about it, we could definitely help you go closer towards the design that is going to fit your business model. And maybe there are also some people who already have a loyalty program in place, but maybe you've realized that it's just a discount-based program. So in fact, it just provides, well, obviously there's, monetary discount, but there is so much more to do. There are ways to make your brand stand out. So also feel free to us, to discuss perhaps some gamified loyalty tactics. We could definitely think about how to enhance the experience that you already have.
Yeah, and I would love to hear from you if the challenges that I've actually like presented, are those the challenges that you and your brand have? And if not, then I would love to hear it. I mean, because we're all about like learning and then helping our audience and our customers elevate their loyalty program to be a revenue driver and stop being a cost.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for joining us today. And yeah, absolutely. So now, if you like think about it and then, reach out to us, do not hesitate. And like, we could definitely discuss the particular moment where you are currently in your D2C loyalty journey. And I'm pretty sure that we could help with some proven ways on how to, like develop up or like improve the experience you already have. Thank you so much and see you soon at the next Loyalty Builders webinar.